Well, that was it.
Oh, yeah.
So that was Terror at Red Wolf Inn. It's interesting. It's a lot, as we talked about during the movie, it's a lot like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And it came out, 2 years before? Probably 3 years before?
It was 2 years before, yeah.
The scene, especially with the dinner scene, and then her running through the house to get the phone, both feel a lot like Chainsaw. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of, like you said, just odd sound and cut choices that happen within the movie, too, that you might not expect to see within it, so...
Yeah, the sound design was, like how you said, how the soundtrack dropped out when she ran out of the freezer, and it was just like...
Yeah. It was very Chainsaw. And it's that... And also, there's the scene where she runs away, in Chainsaw, only to have them find her again and bring her right back.
Right, yeah. That was... There's... like one too many similarities.
Yeah, it's like one or two, but it's like major narrative beats of the movie and then there's one of them that wants her and kind of falls in love with her. This is a lot more obvious than Leatherface.
But he even falls in love with some other girls sometimes.
That's what I mean, like in the second one, yeah.
Well, even in the first one.
Yeah. I mean, if you let him, he'll fuck you with a chainsaw while you sit on a thing of ice with beer in it. That's the weirdest thing. Like that's what you're like. This is just a cartoon. This is not even a Chainsaw 2. It's like this is not even a regular movie anymore. This is just gone beyond ridiculous. This is interesting. Like I was saying to you when we were watching it, I bet they re-released this post Chainsaw under other titles, because it seems like people are like, well, if you like Chainsaw, you definitely would like this. But this is almost like there's a lot of comedy in it, too.
But it's not totally a spoof.
No, it's not.
There's a strange tone to it.
Yeah, it's a very 70s... If you said to me this movie was made in 1985, I'd be like, well, no. If you said, no, there's no way. If you said it was made in 72, I'd be like, yeah. I have to amend my list of things not to do. Don't stay in really classic California houses. I learned from this and burnt offerings. If you're in a house if you're in a house with old people and there are big picturesque bay windows, get the fuck out. Also, if those old people are old Hollywood actors, like from the past, you know what I mean? Like, get out. That's one of my other rules. Seriously, like if an old Hollywood...
There's a bunch of multicultural young people just hanging out with old folks, get out.
Get out. If an old Hollywood couple offers to make you like some kind of special steak that helps you with your pregnancy, or gives you some kind of bay leaf that helps you with your pregnancy, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
So these are the rules that I live my life by. Don't go to an island.
They give you tannis root.
If they give you tannis root, don't.
And a pretty necklace.
And a pretty necklace.
It really has that mistrust of the older generation.
Yeah.
For the early 70s, like you know, Regina and Baby John wants to escape with her or something. Like
well, it's interesting too that they only take women, so they're kind of destroying beauty and innocence. You know what I mean, by cutting it up and eating it. And and it's funny that there's some weird body standards, because whenever he tells Grandma that he wants Regina, she's like, no, we'll get you a girl that's nice and skinny. I'm like, well, you're the ones that fattened her up.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can't date what you eat. Do you know what I mean? You know, there's parts of this too, Bill, because I know you love The Child, and I know the trailer was on this. There's parts of this that remind me of The Child, just the way the running scenes are and some of the cutting, like where some things are really tight. Do you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
The strange insert shots, like the parrots in the greenhouse.
And the blood shot's really cool, because I actually thought, well, I'm not going to spoil the movie. Someone watches this. The twist ending surprised me, actually. But I like this, baby. Anything you'd like to say about the Terror at Red Wolf Inn?
I like the clothes.
You like the clothes a lot?
That's for every movie.
Yeah. The 70s were all about life was cheap and clothes were awesome.
I know. Let's go back.
I really don't know a movie I could compare. Well, other than Chainsaw, obviously, but tone-wise, it's not even uneven. It works. But I don't know a movie I could compare this to.
It moves pretty quick too.
Yeah. How long is it? Like 80 minutes?
It's only about 80 minutes long. Yeah.
It's like I could see them programming this with like a Motel Hell, and do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of movies that it would fit in with pretty well. The acting is all uniformly pretty good though. Especially the grandma is really great in it.
Mary Jackson.
Yeah, she's really good. And you said she's from the Waltons.
That was one of the most recognizable things she did.
She's one of the sisters, right?
Yeah.
When I would go to someone's house and they were watching the Waltons, like I didn't want to be friends with them. You know what I mean? Because kids that watched the Waltons were kids that had to go to bed by like 7:30. Like, you can stay up and watch the whole Waltons because it started at 7. It was always like religious. And again, I've told Becca this. Any kids that were excited about watching Highway to Heaven, I didn't trust at all. Like,
oh, that's going too far. Highway to Heaven.
Yeah.
The Waltons, though, well, my grandparents watched it. And every time I was over their house, they let me stay up as late as I wanted and watch as many horror movies as I wanted to.
Yeah.
And they watched the Waltons, so they were cool.
My grandparents would come home. My grandfather would come home from the mill at 4 in the morning and wake me up because Flash Gordon was on the Buster Crabbe serial. It was on TAE would play it at 4 in the morning on Sunday nights. He would wake me up, and it was only 10 minutes. It was like there right before station identification, and sometimes whoever was programming the station was like, nah, we're not going to show it this week. And it would crush my whole week.
Oh, no.
Like that whole, and you never knew when it was going to come on because it would say in TV Guide, when this movie ends, there will be a Flash Gordon short. So you didn't know. So you'd watch the end of some war movie or whatever was on at 3:30 in the morning, and then maybe you'd see the Buster Crabbe Flash Gordon. And then that was it. And then, but then they stopped doing it after like a year. It was like right, like 78, 79, when, remember there was like the cartoon Flash Gordon that NBC did? And then they did like a TV movie of it, and then it ran on Saturday mornings after that. It was like a year before the theatrical one came out. And then it was like the big ramp up to it. So that's where all the toys came from that came out in that era. So I was ready to go for Flash Gordon. I tell people all the time that it's like people can bitch about superhero movies now, and in like the 70s, we got the shittiest superhero movies ever. We got like Doc Savage with Ron Eli. Do you remember that TV movie?
Oh, yeah. Also Captain America.
With Reb Brown, who is my favorite movie. You Are Hunter from the Future. Shazam and ISIS. Which can't be called ISIS. They would have to call her something. Call her something different now. And the Spider-Man one with Nicholas Hammond where he didn't have a web. Remember he would like whip around this thing and throw it? There's the really bad Doctor Strange movie with the mom from Arrested Development as the bad guy.
I don't know that one very well.
It's not good.
I mean, I'm not real familiar with Doctor Strange anyway, but I remember that movie, but I just wasn't.
I'm getting like super into. That's our next thing we're trying to get. Is they're even harder to find than regular movies. Is finding like 70s and 80s TV movies, because there's a lot of great movies with like big stars and big directors too doing them from that era, and like that are as good. Like we've talked about before, like Gargoyles and Trilogy of Terror. They're as good as any other 70s horror movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If not better in some cases. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, but then that's like a lost art now. Like I think the problem I have with movies now is like any TV movies that are made now are like the sci-fi ones, and they're making them just to be stupid. Versus like a movie like Troll 2 is inherently stupid because it was made ineptly. Do you know what I mean? But it wasn't made like let's make people. It's the trauma kind of way of making a movie,
right? Where
it's just like it's funny, let's make people laugh. Like I like when a movie's bad, but doesn't know that it's bad, or has. I like this movie because it had comedic elements, but at no point was I like, wow, it's like gotten stupid. You know what I mean? It still fits with like within the structure of it.
You guys, if you're into like TV movies, you really need to see Don't Be Afraid of the Dark.
Who's in it?
Kim Darby.
You told me about it before.
It's pretty good. They remade it. No, just a couple years
ago. Guillermo del Toro was involved with that remake. It wasn't good.
No.
It wasn't.
The original is actually the same mansion that was in Terror House. Is this house that Kim Darby and her husband move into, and there's a fireplace that's like all bricked up. And the handyman's like, oh, don't ever open that fireplace. Like this house has been inherited to her. She's inherited this house, and she ends up pulling like the chimney, like the flue out of the side, and lets like these things out of the fireplace. These little gremlins that like terrorize her. But no one sees them except her, of course. So everyone thinks she's going crazy.
Oh, that sounds pretty good.
It really is good. And also Bad Ronald.
Yeah, we love Bad Ronald, yeah.
Bad Ronald's awesome.
Well, we talked about doing a Bad Ronald Little Girl Lived Down the Street marathon.
Oh, yeah.
Scott Jacoby films.
Yeah. You know what? We've talked before about Little Girl Lives Down the Lane. If you want to talk a movie that is crazy, Like, that's a crazy movie.
Yeah.
And it's very strange because it's almost like a stage play because it only happens, like, in 2 rooms. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't really see anywhere other than the house. And it's just a weird, just so much weirdness happens in that movie. Like, why does Scott Jacoby have a bum leg? Do you know what I mean? Like, it has nothing to do with it. Like, they spend a lot of time talking about how he can't walk properly, and none of this comes into the movie at all. It's the only time I've ever thought that Charlie Sheen is Martin Sheen's son. Because Martin Sheen really comes off like Charlie Sheen in that movie. Do you know what I mean? Like, when he's doing
yeah, you're right.
Like, I was like, yeah, I guess they're related, because they look similar, but not, do you know what I mean? Like, I never, like, saw it in my head clearly till I saw that movie. But I love that movie. We just finally got it on DVD, and I don't know if you ever noticed this happens. Like, we look and hunt and hunt and hunt for DVD, and then
without having to buy it online.
Without having to buy it online or spend too much. And as soon as we find it everywhere. So we've seen that movie 5 times in the last 5 video stores. We went fucking 2 years without finding that movie, and it was like $30 online. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? And then I found it for, what did we pay, $20 for it, I think, at the exchange. We're like, well, okay, I can deal with that. Now I've seen it for like $3 and $5. It's infuriating. I mean, it's the gamble of when do you buy a DVD versus when don't you.
There must have been a Blu-ray that came out.
Probably that's what it is. It's like The Boy Who Cried Werewolf. For the longest time, I was like, I had the bootleg of it, and I was like,
oh yeah,
and I was like, oh well, it's never gonna come out, so I'll pay $10 for the bootleg. What like the day about the bootleg, it's like, oh, we're releasing this movie. Everything's getting a, like that Uncle Sam movie's got a fucking Blu-ray. It didn't deserve a Blu-ray. I don't know if it deserves a DVD release. But
that's a sterling recommendation.
Well, I don't know. But your goal is that you'd like to see Terror Red Wolf Inn come out on Blu-ray.
Oh yeah. Well, Code Red announced it a couple of years ago.
Yeah. And just hasn't put it out.
Well, apparently they don't have elements that are good enough to make a Blu-ray from.
Oh, okay.
They can't find the negatives or.
Well, where'd you get this one from?
The bootleg.
Mm.
I think it was from a VHS print, like either Canadian or the UK, because those 2 scenes only appeared in the Canadian or UK VHS.
Mm.
The American print, and I don't know why they, like, I guess that's what made it R-rated, where there's 2 scenes, and really...
You could see the hint of, like, breasts or whatever it was in that one scene, whatever. That wasn't deleted, like, when they were, like, the stuff was hanging. Do you know what I mean? She got bumped with something.
Okay.
But I mean, we've certainly watched movies like The Baby that are PG, and we're like, maybe that should be an R. This one, if you told me this is a PG, I'd be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was a little smoldering.
Yeah. There wasn't any sisters getting in cribs with their brothers or bodies being thrown into wells or any of that stuff.
It was all implied, even the cannibalism aspect. I mean, nothing was
you never
explicit.
saw him actually cut him up or anything.
Yeah.
You saw the foot in the soup. That's about as close as it
When he was
But
eating
you
a
said
finger.
that's a cutout.
That's one of the edited scenes.
So
yeah.
if you took those edited scenes out, it's more psychological that something's happening.
Right.
Like, you could air this on TV today and not have to cut anything. I don't think
It did play on. That's the first place I saw it.
Really?
I
Is it
saw
on
it.
like Chili Billy or something?
It was on Fright Night from 9 New York, WOR.
Oh, okay. What's funny is I was looking through if it wasn't you, it was Coming Soon had it. But they had WOR showing The Baby at like 7 o'clock at night.
That was me.
Yeah, it was you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, how did this happen? But it's like there's that site that shows you all the stuff that played on Chili Billy. And there's stuff that played on there. I'm like, how did this play on like broadcast TV?
Mm-hmm.
That one podcast I listened to, the TV guidance counselor, they interviewed Steve Bissette, the guy who did Swamp Thing, the artist. He does Tyrant. He's done a couple other books on he's on the commentary track for the Diabolic DVD, Danger Diabolic. And he was talking about the first time he saw a lot of Fulci films and Bava films. He saw Blood and Black Lace on 9 New York. When he first got to the college. And the first night they watched it, all the violence was in it, because they would send the stations these movies uncut. And it was up to the movies to make the cuts based on what worked in their area. And so the first night he watched it, all the violence was in it. And it was supposed to get repeated like that weekend. And he told everybody in school, you gotta watch this movie, it's crazy. And then when they watched it, there were just 20 minutes of it just hacked out. Because obviously there's a lot in that. Even though there's so much implied in that, is that even any worse than an episode of CSI now? Do you know what I mean? Other than some of the Hook stuff, you probably couldn't show some of that, but
Yeah, I don't know. It's really permissive. Now they'll just put a warning before it, like the Hannibal series had a warning, and they showed some really hideous violence on
Well,
there.
Walking Dead shows a ton of stuff too. I mean, they know it's basic cable. It's not.
Well, FX too. They put warnings on all their stuff now too.
Oh. How many swear words were in, what do you call it?
Feud.
Feud was
Feud and
just,
OJ.
No.
yeah. That's my favorite line from Feud is, the guy who owned the studio.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Warner.
Warner, when he's like, stop with that fucking baby shit. That's my favorite thing that he said. Well,
She was calling him Daddy.
Daddy, it's always like, stop that fucking daddy shit. That's Becca's new thing, by the way. Is she
What?
likes to call me daddy in like public places. So
I do it on purpose.
the other day we went
loud.
to I had to take her to FedEx to drop and deliver her phone back to her last job. And so we went in and I took up the counter and we paid and we're almost out of FedEx. I had no idea this was coming. She's like, "Thanks for taking me to FedEx, Daddy," and like slams the door and everybody goes, "What?" Like some maniac would like demand she says that they're like, "Thanks for taking me to," but in the sexiest voice, "Thanks for taking me to FedEx, Daddy." And she'll do it on the gym at the
I think it's
treadmill.
great.
Yeah, she were on the treadmill. She's like, "You're going at good speed, Daddy. You might want to slow it down, Daddy." And like, there's like 30 people around us staring at us. And she goes, just keeps
I
running.
can stop that from.
No.
She loves it so much. At home, I'm baby. Outside of the house, I'm Daddy. I have no identity whatsoever. I'm trapped between two men.
You're no longer Sam.
I'm no longer Sam. She says,
Unless
"Baby
you
doesn't
wanna be-
talk. Baby doesn't walk."
Unless you want to be baby Sammy, like baby Johnny.
Baby Johnny's really good in this too.
Oh, I love his performance.
Yeah, he literally looks unhinged, and not in like, sometimes you see guys in movies like, well, that guy's obviously acting crazy. He looks unhinged.
It's realistic.
Yeah, it's very realistic. That is the most realistic part, by the way, of Troll 2. That there's the guy that plays the shopkeeper looks like a troll, and like they interview him in Best Worst Movie, the movie about the making of it, and the guy's like legitimately crazy. Like when they sit and ask about the movie, he doesn't remember it, but he remembers being abducted, and he remembers like all these horrible things and like these numerous conspiratorial stories that have happened to his life, but does not remember being in Troll 2. It's pretty awesome.
That's what being in those movies will do to you.
That whole scene though on the beach with Regina and Baby John, where they almost kiss.
Yeah.
It almost happens like 2 or 3 times before it finally does. And she told me, she said when I got the part, I didn't read the script.
Uh-huh.
And she told the director she had just been in this intensive film that she made called Why, where she played a pregnant junkie. It was like about an encounter group or something. O.J. Simpson was in it with her.
Wow.
So
that sounds like a very 70s movie, too.
She did this really intensive role, and she told Bud Townsend, she said, "Okay, but how about if I just show up on the set and you tell me what I have to say, and I'll say it." And he was like, "Well, if that's how you want to do it, you can." And at the end, and they shot it in sequence. At that part at the end, like anything that was in the kitchen, they shot last. So that thing that they did with her, giving him the brownies in the truck.
Yeah.
They shot that, and she was like, "Well, why am I in this scene? Aren't I dead?" Because she hadn't read the script, and she didn't know like what was supposed to have happened in the greenhouse.
That's what always blows my mind. Is like how did and they talk about actors being method and staying in character. How do you be method and then shoot the film completely out of sequence? Do you know what I mean? Like, especially like how do you? Because then you would have to ask what your motivation is for this scene.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
That's my motivation. Then they got to go into like a long childhood history of why that person feels the way they do.
But that's why that scene took so long on the beach, because she was like, I didn't know what was going to happen. And in fact, she showed up and Bobby gave her that bikini to put on. She's like, "Was that for me?" So
did she know that shark scene was going to
No.
Because that shark scene is that's probably the
Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
That's the most upsetting part.
Yeah, because Becca's used to, unfortunately, suffering through Italian horror movies where if you see an animal die, 99% odds that was a real animal that just got eviscerated on screen. Do you know what I mean?
That was real.
Was it?
It was a real shark.
Oh, I didn't think it was.
You can see it moving. Like if you watch it more than once, you'll see it moving.
But I mean, the part where he killed it might have been dead.
Well,
I'm gonna believe that it was dead already. Or
I like when he just, after
Fake.
he slams it into the rocks 5 or 6 times, he walks up and just punches
it.
Like, what a weird acting choice. Like, I'm gonna punch this. I mean, that's gonna go on my supercut of men fighting sharks hand to hand. I mean, there's only one other one. It's that and Zombie. That's pretty much it. That's the only movies I can think about where someone fights a shark hand to hand. But that's a pretty great scene though. It's like he's fishing. Like, you think they're gonna kiss, and then it's like it gets closer and closer. Then you hear the reel, and like, oh well, he probably caught a fish, or maybe the reel is like some kind of sexual significance of that he's excited. You know what I mean? And they're gonna cut from it. And no, if you said, oh, he's gonna catch a shark, I would have been like, yeah, of course, Bill, whatever. Then he catches a shark and beats the fuck out of it. But why? Like, you can eat a shark.
Then he says, "I love you."
And he says,
I think I love you.
I think I love you. I mean, that's how it happens. You find the man of your dreams. Turns out he's from a cannibal family, and he fucks up sharks on the regular. But that's what I love about this movie is, like, there's so many movies. This is the second movie you brought to this house where I've been like, wait, but what? Okay. Do you know what I mean? Because, like, narratively, a lot of other movies, you're like, well, of course Jason's going to kill everybody, or of course this is the motivation for why this happens. And that's what I love about this, where it's just like, nah. This is, maybe that's the full shoe lover in me, where it's like, my favorite dudes in City of the Living Dead are the guys in the bar who serve no function but just to be in the bar, and then just get killed. You know what I mean? Like why are they even in the movie? They have no reason to be in the movie. They don't, like, you could take them out and all their scenes out, none of it matters. But this movie, on the other hand, everybody served their purpose. And, I really like the grandfather, too.
Arthur Space, he's great.
Yeah,
he's in the Bat People.
Oh, is another one of your favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a movie that nothing happens in?
It is. That's a really big one where nothing happens.
I remember it was the last movie at the drive-in.
That should be your podcast. Called
Movies where nothing happens.
That should be a special issue of...
and that's what you have to do. You have to explain during the podcast why you like them, even though nothing happens.
It should be a special issue of Driving Us Out, just single-page reviews of movies where nothing happens. Just like an omnibus of movies like where nothing happens.
There's movies I like that, and I think that the people that are in them is why I like them so much. And that's the only reason.
Like, what would be a movie you like?
I can stand behind them.
What would be a movie you like that?
Mostly Ryan Gosling movies.
Like a Magnolia would be a movie that you would put.
That one, nothing happens, and I hate it.
This is one of the few movies we ever fight
Did you ever
about.
see Magnolia?
Yeah.
I can't stand that movie.
I wish we had done a
I think
podcast
because
about
I
it.
had never seen it, and there was so much build up from him.
I love that movie
and then
so
I'm
much.
like, that's it?
Magnolia?
Like,
Yeah. Did you ever
he
see
just
it?
built it up so much. It's just like Vanilla
Yeah,
Sky
but I
and all
don't
those
know.
other ones.
So maybe
It's
I didn't.
better than Vanilla Sky.
No.
Yeah.
I never saw Vanilla Sky.
My wife watched Vanilla Sky
What
about
was the
9
other
years
one
ago.
that was like Magnolia?
Oh, Crash.
American Beauty.
No, there was a...
21 Grams.
21 grams. Well, see, he tried to tell me that all these stories are
All those
combined.
Robert
I
Altman
mean, I
movies
see
are
how
like
they're
that.
combined, but not in the way
The
21
Nashville's like
grams
But the guy who
is.
was the director
Did other ones.
did other ones.
Boogie
and
Nights?
It was kind of like, they're kind of like a Robert Altman movie where
Yeah.
they're all different, but the setup's the same. Like,
Yeah.
how Nashville's like everybody together, and
Yeah.
and a wedding's like the same thing. It's like the venue is like, if the venue changes, but it's all really about individual stories
Yeah.
about people who are put together.
Yeah,
And
Shortcuts
Magnolia's
is
one of
good,
those,
yeah.
but there's another movie that he
Or
was a little bit
Gunshots.
more famous for.
Not Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
Boogie Nights? Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Boogie
that's-
Nights is good.
I don't like Boogie Nights.
I don't like Magnolia.
Okay.
It's terrible.
I don't like. I like the first half of Boogie Nights, and then after where it's like porn's bad. Everybody gets fucked up. It's like and it gets like weird, preachy, and
But
then
it's
and then
more
there's
about
the scene.
characters.
I do like
That's
the scene where
fine,
they're
I like
throwing the
that
fire.
one.
The kids throwing the firecrackers at them when they go. This scene is supposed to be John Holmes and Wonderland.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that scene's really cool. And I like the scene where he's trying to sing the touch from Transformers, where he's in the studio like screaming it over and over again. We heard Donnie Wahlberg on Howard Stern. He goes, "Yeah, that's his real voice. That's why he didn't sing in Boys and Men. 'Cause
Well,
that's
he
really
was,
what he's."
no, they said that he was originally in New Kids on the Block
Yeah,
too.
that's what it was. Yeah.
And he didn't want to do it. Donnie Wahlberg said he'd rather go out and steal cars with his friends and smoke cigarettes and hang out. He goes, and the reason he can't sing is because he can't sing. He says when he sings in Boogie Nights, he goes, that's exactly what he sounds like. That's why he was not in New Kids on the Block. Because he was invited to join, and I guess he stayed on for like a couple weeks and then quit.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, Donnie Wahlberg.
hmm
Thanks for bringing Terror Red Wolf in, or whatever of the 19 titles. I'm excited to see what other movies that don't go anywhere. What are there any planned to drive in this time? They're all pretty short though, so stuff has to happen in them.
Yeah, this is more of a 1950s,
Yeah.
60s year.
50s science fiction movies feel like everybody's like kind of cooked up, like a lot's happening. Do you know what I mean? Like that, like we gotta pack it all in. Like let's get it
I
in.
don't know though. Some of them are really interminably boring, even though they're short. Like the Deadly Mantis.
Why
Oh,
did
yeah.
they pick these?
George likes that stuff.
I'm
Most
excited.
of the rest of us don't like it.
I'm excited
All of
for.
them.
I'm excited for.
I
the,
like it.
I'm excited for the Tingler.
It's okay.
Of
I
course.
just would rather see horror movies.
No, but when they do the scene where the Tingler's loose in the theater, I'm gonna go nuts honking my horn, flicking on the lights.
I like
It's not the Tingler, it's the Tangler.
The Tangler. The
Tangler.
Tangler.
I like Adam Age Vampire.
I have that. If you buy like those, those comp like $3 DVDs that have
Yeah.
like 20 movies on, I have like 9 versions of Adam Age Vampire. I can't wait till the Criterion one comes out so I
This
can
is
get
going to
it
be
put
a
it next to.
drive, and then I sleep all 4 or 5 movies.
Well, the Adam Age Vampire, the ones on all those budget compilations,
Yeah.
that's the TV version.
Yeah,
And there's all this stuff cut out of it. Like
Mhm.
anything that's remotely gory or sexy is cut out of it.
mm.
Hmm.
I would like to see an uncut print.
It's like, but we talked about the Hollywood, like the movies that they would air for May. Do you know what I mean? I was saying, you should just tell them to do more movies now because they're taking your ideas. My Jess Franco night will not be taken. Like, I'll like the shittiest Jess Franco movies all in one night. Like 3 people go, like you, me, and like some derelict in the theater, and that's it. Like nobody else.
It
Like,
might
well,
not even be me, Sam,
I
depending
know.
on which ones it is.
if it was Vampirus Lesbos, and that's really probably about the only good one.
Did he do, yeah, he did The Demons.
Yeah.
I like that one. Have you seen that?
Mm-mm. I did get.
It's a nunsploitation movie called The Demons. It's
I've heard of it,
awesome.
and I probably would like it, just as what I'm hearing. Demon, I did get Demon 2 finally. Demons 2.
Oh, the Lombardo Bava.
Yeah, I did get it finally.
I like Demons too. I was just thinking about that
Arjanto's
yesterday.
in it.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
What movie was all those scenes from?
From what?
What were we watching the other night where all the theater scenes were from that movie?
Oh, what was that? I can't remember.
Yeah, you guys were talking about it earlier.
It was something random.
I can't remember.
Oh, it was The Lords of Salem.
Oh, and Lords of Salem they were watching, but it was like scenes from the other one. But it was another one where they were. It was a movie within a movie they made, but we were watching something else, and it was scenes from another horror movie. Were in it. Was it Town of Dreaded Sundown? Hmm.
It's gonna bother me now.
We have to go back and think what we watched the last couple nights.
I know.
We haven't watched. What did we watch?
Was it the Stanley Kubrick one?
It was the Stanley Kubrick. Oh, we were watching Room 237. And
Yeah.
Did you see Room 237? It's a documentary about what The Shining is really about. And every time they show the theater scene, every time they show people watching the movie, they use scenes from Demons. Like how everybody's coming into the theater and watching it, and all their reactions. And they cut that as the crowd reaction shots.
I
Wow.
kept saying, why do these people
She's like,
look
why do
familiar?
they keep showing Demons?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't until we saw the pimp guy in the audience with his 2 girls, and she's like, "They're showing Demons." Like, because I think it was like cheaper footage then, because there's no real footage
And
of
the
The
lady
Shining.
who was the usher in like that green suit, the one with the long red hair, she kept going on the
Oh.
screen. And I'm like, I don't know.
She's been in a million other things, but as a little
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that movie because it is like I said like I don't like what I'm
She's in
saying.
Beer and Blood.
Yeah, she is in Baron Blood, which I just watched finally and I loved. It's great.
I like Bear and Blood too.
I have a really crappy quality copy though. It's one of those ones. It was like it was like when it came out, it was $1. Do you know what I mean? It was like so They put it on someone's wall and someone taped it.
Genius is genius.
Yeah, I know.
It's a $3.
That's what I said here. Like I got the Night Evelyn Came Over Grave today, like a cheap one. I know it just came out on Blu-ray, but it's like the Blu-ray is like $29. This is like a $4 one. I'm like, it'll be the same movie. Like, and if I really like it, then maybe I'll buy it. But it's like,
Yeah.
But I'll watch this one and I'll enjoy this one. But it is nice that stuff's coming out on Blu-ray, and like there's certain movies like Baba movies and Suspiria and stuff that can be on Blu-ray and should be because of the colors and the choices. But most of the shit I watch in a Fulci movie, like it's not gonna improve my viewing. Like I watched that City of the Living Dead that played on Roku the other night on that American Nightmares channel, and it was like a really beat up VHS copy of it with like blobbing and tracking and stuff, and it made it better, I think. Because I got the idea that like maybe like thousands of people have watched this VHS tape of it and been grossed out by it and enjoyed it. So, well, thank you for joining us for Terror at Redwood Inn. Reminder, you can get Bill Zine by going to Drive-In Asylum or Groovy Doom on Etsy or eBay.
And follow the page on Facebook.
Yeah, it's Groovy Doom on Facebook.
Groovy Doom is the page you want to follow. There's a Drive-In Asylum page too, but it's mostly just to promote the zine.
And probably because so few people listen to our podcast, if you look up my name and you see Bill's post and you friend Bill, chances are he's probably going to friend you back. And then he'll say, you'll go to a movie theater with him sometime and be like, hey, if you want to stay with me, all I got's a single bed. And then he'll look at you kind of creepy.
That's his scam.
That's his scam.
That he works.
It'll work. He's like, hey, I know you're far from home, but this working right now.
Any port in a storm.
You see my etchings.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, why don't you come
What is
back?
that
Why don't you
from?
come back to my room and we'll look at newspaper.com and
Nonsense.
we'll look back at movie listings from '82.
I am a smooth operator.
Yeah. And Mark, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Anything you'd like to plug?
No, I'm just deep in thought because I'm thinking about movies that nothing happens and I like.
Yeah.
That's better than
My Dinner with Andre. Stuff happens and I guess they talk.
Well, the other topic would be movies that you like that are terrible.
What movies do you like
All
that
of
are
mine.
terrible?
He's talking about me, I think.
Oh, movie.
Well, no, I mean,
Every
that's
movie.
just a good subject.
I love is on that How Did It Get Made podcast. The ones where they sit there and make fun of them. Every movie.
Yeah, like it was like seriously like 8 weeks in a row were all Becca movies.
Oh.
It was like, and finally like when Sleepwalkers played, she was like, "No, you don't make fun of Sleepwalkers."
Wow, that's good.
I don't like to do that. I don't like to talk about how bad movies are anymore. I used to do that when I first started writing reviews, but it's not interesting after a while.
No, well, you know what the thing is too. Like I don't look at, but I think like what we do is like I don't look at it as like, because I hate people that review stuff because then aren't creating anything new. I look at kind of like we're enjoying things and then hoping, like telling the story of these things, these movies, and then hoping to get people interested in them so that they will like these movies in the same way. Do you know what I mean? Like it's sharing them and
Yeah.
versus like I don't like when people like I got this book of zombie movies and like it just shit all over like well there's shit all over Fulci movies and it's like they're all bad and the makeup's horrible and who would waste their time watching it? It's like chances are 90% of the people that bought a book about zombies probably love those movies. So
yeah, that's a gross miscalculation.
yeah, I know. So like maybe just chill out. And I know that there are indefensible moments of some of these movies, and that's the thing. Like I realize there's a lot of movies that I like Mark was saying, like that are shitty. I know they're shitty movies. I know they're not.
But
good.
who cares?
But I don't. Like I hate when people say, "Well, it's a guilty pleasure." It's like, well, no. Like I like it.
If you enjoy it, you enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's not so bad it's good. I mean, if you're enjoying it, then it's good.
I think the only bad movie is a boring movie. Like if a movie.
Thank you.
Yeah, like
That's a good point.
because then there's like.
No.
Like, I'm sure most people would watch, like, some Larry Cohen movies and be like, oh, this movie's kind of stupid. Do you know what I mean? Like, the stuff for,
Shark
like,
from the
Q.
movie.
And Q's great. Like, I love it.
Yeah,
Here.
Q is amazing.
Yeah, and there's great acting in it. Like, if it wasn't a genre movie, like, there's a lot of really good acting that people would be like, wow, this was a well-acted movie. But that's what I love, because, like, especially, like, so much of what we love is very much in the, even in Hollywood, is in the junk bin. Do you know what I mean? It's, like, the most looked down of stuff. But it's like that's, I think, finding the joy in that, and it's a little bit of the rebellion and like the Like, I don't feel like I fit in this a bit. I think that horror engenders a little bit. And, like, you find these movies and you're like, I love this movie, I don't care. And if you really love it, like, what's it matter if someone makes fun of it?
Yeah.
Like, I used to hate when Siskel and Ebert would review a horror movie, and they would just shit all over it. And then I'm like, but you wrote Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, which I loved. I mean, like, one would think that you would get this and understand it. They were like, I remember when slasher movies were big, they would tear them apart every week. It would always be like whatever their hound of the week was, like their bad movie of the week, inevitably that would be the movie that I liked.
That's why I watched their show.
To find what ones there were.
And that's actually, you know, even though they hated a lot of these movies,
Yeah.
Watching Siskel and Ebert taught me how to watch movies.
Yeah.
Because just hearing them talk about it, I loved when they disagreed.
Yeah.
Because then you really got good stuff there. And you're like, well, why do you like this movie? And why do you think it's good? So I didn't care that they didn't like the horror movies, you know.
Yeah, but I wouldn't really... But there were times when they did like them.
Yeah, they talked about horror movies. They loved Halloween. Both
Yeah.
of them.
But I remember, like, if I saw... Like, I would get so excited about a movie. Like, when Altered States was coming out, I was... From the commercials and stuff, I was ridiculously excited for it. It's not a good movie. I love it, but it's not a good movie.
It wasn't what you expected, was it?
No, but you know what's funny is, the other thing... I don't know if I ever told you about this. Like, because we didn't have money when I was a kid to go out to movies, but also, Altered States came out when I was 9, so I couldn't be like, hey, Mom, I want to go see this R-rated movie. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Sure, yeah.
And, like, I couldn't tell my mom how awesome Ken Russell was. Like, I don't think I ever knew that Ken Russell did it when I was 9. But I experienced so many movies through the lens of Mad Magazine, a 4 or 5 page version of that movie. Do you know what I mean? And then I would see it later on HBO. And I would say, oh, I've already kind of seen this because I read it in Mad Magazine. And that's how I experienced so much of culture. And then did seeing those movies made fun of it, Mad, like, influence. I remember, like, that's how I saw Outland before Outland came out. That it was in Mad Magazine.
Like the milking of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, that's because, and plus, when you're under 12 and there's only 4 channels, there's chances you may never see these. And
yeah.
And it's like if...
You had to hope it was on TV.
And even if you got the TV guide and you pre-planned out when you were going to watch something, there was a good chance that something was going to happen in your family to fuck up your opportunity to watch a movie.
Your parents were going to go somewhere and you had to go with them.
Yeah.
That was the number one reason I didn't get to see things.
Yeah.
Or it was on too late.
Yeah. And it was
then
like,
you go
when
to
I would say
bed.
to my mom, I was like, oh, Baron Blood's on at 3 in the morning. And it's like, first off, you're 9 and you can't, your movie's going to scare the shit out of you. And then 3 in the morning at 9, no. The first time I saw the Bee Gees' Sgt. Pepper was at 3 in the morning and played on 53 in the mid-'80s. And the only reason I got to see it is my dad and my grandfather were fixing a furnace. So they were fixing it, and everyone else went to bed. I had no supervision. And they were like, up next on PGH, the Bee Gees. And Sgt. Pepper, I'm like, how can this be bad? No, I'll let me tell you the ways. It's no, Can't Stop the Music, but it is pretty close. That's one I want to do on the podcast, but I can't find anyone. I'm sure you'll watch it.
Oh, sure.
The
Hell
Village
yeah.
People Can't Stop the Music.
I love Can't Stop the Music.
You know my favorite part of the movie?
Mark will watch it.
Will you watch that, Mark? Can't Stop the Music with the Village People?
Oh yeah, I'd like to see that.
Nancy Walker directed that.
She did
Yeah,
direct it.
yeah.
When I met the Mads guys from Mystery Science Theater, I asked about it. He's like, that's Nancy Walker's finest movie. Like, they knew all about it. Like, it was. My favorite scene in the movie is when the construction worker has his fantasy of, they'll have, like, their fantasies, and, like, his is of, like, some hot girl, like, giving him a rub down. When it debuted in San Francisco, like, people threw the records through the screen and tore the screen down. They were so upset.
Oh my god.
And it stars future transgender person, Bruce Jenner, and Valerie Perrine. It is everything the late 70s, early 80s is. That's what's great. It's like movies like that could be made back then. You're like, yeah, that's a dream movie for the show, and The Lonely Lady's a dream movie for the show.
Of course, Jeff Nelson from Shout Factory, Scream Factory, just put out The Lonely Lady.
See, that's the thing. If you told me that movie would ever come out on Blu-ray, I'd be like, no, because that's.
Did you buy it?
No, I'm buying it. Yeah, I haven't bought it yet. That's one of those. Something really bad has to happen, or really good in my life has to happen, and then I just have one of those breakdown moments. Like, well, I'll order that Blu-ray, and nothing's pushed me that far. I've been pretty steady. That barometer's been steady, but as soon as it goes bad, like, I will get that. That's one of those movies. I read the book. My mom had a hardcover of the book when I was a kid, so I think that was one of those like housewife books there was like that and like the Thornbirds and
Mm-hmm.
and a few other ones. The Thornbirds,
The Choir Boys.
yeah, but it's like the Lonely Lady's just filth. Do you know what I mean? Like it's the book's even filthier than the movie, if possible. And then I remember thinking like, how are they going to turn this into a movie? Because I remember seeing it was going to be an HBO because that was like that and Butterfly were the two big Pia Zadora movies.
Oh, I forgot about Butterfly.
Yeah, because that's the one that she won the Golden Globe for best new talent. The only time that award's ever been given at the Golden Globes. Because her husband paid for it.
Oh.
But that was like the era of like this ingenue who was like owned by a guy. Like Bo Derek was like that too. Do you know what I mean? Like she was like kind of like a project. Do you know what I mean? And then Bolero, which is another one of those movies where like, what is this movie? Like the Lonely Lady's very much in that world of like late night HBO Cinemax. But then none of these movies have someone being douched with a garden hose. So, and the end of it's just bonkers crazy. It's great. I'm wondering if my 12-year-old early puberty mania of how much I love Lonely Lady will translate into a 45-year-old man that has actually had sex. Like, will it still be a good movie? Do you know what I mean? In the same way that that porn that you found in the woods, it probably doesn't hold up. Like, once you're like in your like 40s, like, yeah, that's cool. I don't need that. Like, I've seen everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, but when you're like 14, it's like, what is this heaven that fell from the sky?
You can't ever recapture that again.
No, well, the kids won't today. That's why I think we should take it upon ourselves to go in the woods, buy magazines, and just cut pages out and just randomly leave them in the woods because some kid's going to need to see.
Today, you'd have to register as a sex offender for that.
I'm not going to do that. I'll just order the Lonely Lady DVD Blu-ray and feel better about myself. I have no idea what movie they can put out next that would surprise me more. Other than maybe Young Lady Chatterley 2, which would surprise me.
I got the Windows Blu-ray. It's fucking amazing.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, man. What if Curtains comes out on Blu-ray?
Talk about, that's a movie where nothing happens.
Nothing
Windows.
Windows, nothing happens.
Literally nothing happens. It's just a bunch of, like, images and scenes.
Is that another one with what's her name in it from Terror House?
Linda Gillen is in that film.
Yeah. But nothing.
Very briefly.
Yeah, but nothing happens.
No, it's really not a whole lot happens.
Uncle Sam was kind of like, it's almost like too much and nothing happened at the same time. In Uncle Sam, which is that kind of movie, like when it's over, you're like, I know I watched it, but I don't really know what I enjoyed or...
You don't know what the point was?
No, and it's like, I get that they were trying to invent a new slasher movie for a holiday that doesn't have a slasher movie. Do you know what I mean? There's like one for, but by 96, like it didn't really fucking matter anymore. Do you know what I mean? At that point, it was like, well, what do we even have to do at this point?
That really was a throwback in 96.
Well, that's the thing, and I got like kind of excited. So I'm like, well, Larry Cohen wrote it, so it'll be good. And no, it's not. Like, they totally reached out to like the geek in their audience, like PJ Souls and Larry Cohen present, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I'm in. And no. But it's one of those movies that I remember seeing on videotape shelves. You know what I mean? And being like, I should maybe rent that at Blockbuster, and never did. But it's kind of like Shockers the same way. It's like another of those movies where you get like super, super excited about it, and then it comes out and you're like, yeah. Like, it's okay.
Oh, you saw Shocker?
I saw it in the theater the first day. Because I went to a comic convention and they gave out shirts and they did like a 2-minute trailer for it. And it was like, everything was plugged as like it was going to be like a heavy metal Freddy Krueger kind of thing. It's not. It's really bad. Like everything Wes Craven did outside of Last House on the Left, Hills Have Eyes, and maybe the first and third Nightmare on Elm Streets. I don't really like anything else he did.
Not even Scream?
Deadly Friend. I like Deadly Friend too. Here's the thing I don't like about Scream is I don't like that when a movie gets stupid and then it gets like self-referential, but it still makes the same mistakes. Do you know what I mean? That it's just like lazy, right? Do you know what I mean? Like they make fun of the plot holes of the old style horror movies, and then they do the exact same thing. And it's like, okay, well then why you're just pointing out how badly written you are. You obviously understand that it's badly written. Right? Exactly.
You know.
And says he's sick of movies that put dogs in danger or kill dogs for dramatic effect. i.e., all the Halloween movies.
Terror House.
Terror House, yeah. He was really upset about The Good Son the other night. We watched The Good Son. Also coming out on a Blu-ray. Like he
Who
does
wants a
put
Blu-ray on that?
Oh, the dude who made Clown House wants a Blu-ray.
Oh, that's going too far.
That whole movie was supposed to be Macaulay Culkin's breakout away from Home Alone. And it's just real fucking unsettling.
I saw that in the theater.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
It's on HBO right now. We watched it on HBO. And it's weird.
It is weird.
It is like upsetting actually in like a weird way. Like it's like, especially that ice scene is pretty harrowing. When the little girl gets trapped under the ice, like he shoves his sister under the ice. Spoiler warning.
I really don't remember that.
Yeah, you should. Do you have HBO?
Yeah, right now actually we do.
Yeah, instead of Game of Thrones
For
and
free.
all these great shows, you should just watch
The Good Son.
Like, why did you get HBO? Did you get it for the sports? And
I remember they
series?
threw like a body, like a fake body
Oh,
off
yeah.
of an overpass, and
They shoot a dog with a gun at one point. Like
and then at the end there's a woman that has to choose about whether she's going to drop her evil son or this innocent boy that's really
Or
not-
Bilbo Baggins. It's not good. If we watch that, The Paperboy with William Catt, which is another like slasher kind of like, it's very much like a
Cat from Carrie.
Yeah, it's a about his kid that doesn't have a family, so he tries to adopt another family, and it's a Canadian movie, so it's fucking weird.
Is it a comedy?
No, it's not.
Kinda got
It's
an
kind of like it's
idea.
directed by the same. No, it's not. The same guy who directed The Good Son directed The Stepfather, the Terry Quinn.
Oh,
movie.
right. I
Yeah,
love that movie.
we have both of them. We bought both of them.
I've never seen the second one.
It's not good.
Not enough for me.
Baby, is the second Stepfather any good?
Yes, I
Yeah,
love
the
it.
second step. Oh,
Jonathan Brandis and Meg Foster.
Oh, okay. Well, yes. Bill's never seen that.
Good.
You know that Becca likes sequels more than the originals.
Really?
Always.
Yes. Jaws 3 more than Jaws 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
There's
They brought me a Bop It.
a Bop It.
Yeah.
Oh man. Where did you get a Bop It?
They're
Yeah,
going
I
through their
just
stuff.
going through my stomach. I'm like, I'm taking this over and see if they want it.
She plays with one in the store.
I
The
told them
days?
that, yeah.
Hope it still works.
I need batteries.
Yeah, it needs batteries, but I thought this pulled that. Oh, twist it.
Oh man. Angela is entranced with it.
Yes, he says that for me.
Well, that's another
I'll Bop It
episode.
with the batteries.
Becca, anything you'd like to plug?
Bop It.
Bop It.
Yeah.
We'll go to bopit.com and
And purchase one.
purchase one. The signature Becca Bop It.
Yeah. Well, we're not allowed to have the Simon in the house.
No. What movie was it that the Simon got possessed?
Here,
A Paranormal Activity,
one
yeah.
of those, yeah.
Yeah, the devil talked to them through a Simon machine. It was really scary.
The same, so we can never have one.
Nope. This is Sam. You can go to our site, bnsaboutmovies.com. That's a big announcement.
What?
We have a real website,
Yeah.
bnsaboutmovies.com, and you can find all the episodes there, and articles, and pictures of Angela.
Yeah, you have to put up a lot of pictures of him.
He'll have his own section, Angela's reviews of movies where dogs are put in danger,
Mm-hmm.
and how much it upsets him.
Do his thing, his 12 questions.
Oh, his
He
questions.
has the recording.
If you go to heaven, Angela, what are the first words you'd like to hear? Arr. Did you hear our interview? We did the behind the actor's studio, inside the actor's studio. We did it with Ange, and every time it was his turn to answer, I would just push his ribs, and he'd go.
What's your favorite, what other profession other than, he goes, ah.
What's your favorite curse word? Ah. That's probably my favorite episode we've ever done. All right. Well, we will see you guys soon. Goodbye.